last night, and no, I did not watch it because I told y'all man caught in the NFL. But I did get wind that several, I believe 12 of the players for the Cleveland Browns in their Monday night game last night against the New York Giants were sidelined, and they all took a knee, as you see right here, to protest the national anthem. And as you can see, several other players too, 4 of them which have their hand on the shoulders of their teammates. All 12, including one player that happens to be white, number 87. In case y'all know, his name happened to be Seth DeValve. Now, this came after a few days that Browns head coach Hugh Jackson said that he didn't want his players protesting the national anthem with that hypocritical BS statement, and a lot of us, myself included, went super hard, went in on Hugh Jackson since nonchalant behind super hard about that. You know, how dare he goes ahead and hinder his players from to talk about something like that without saying that'll work itself out. You know, this is what Hugh Jackson was saying. I'm going to just take y'all back right to it before I continue, in case people have forgotten. Shannon Sharp tore a new one in him. Let me see if I could just pull it up real quick.
Michael Bennett both sat on the sidelines for their team's preseason games this weekend.
Okay, see, YouTube tripping now. You know, I'm starting to get real pissed off with them. Because they can't get their shit straight. Fucking Google.
Michael Bennett both...
Keep it here. You know, what we deal with, we try to deal with as a...
Let me try to go ahead and go to the beginning of this to let y'all know this.
To myself personally, an organization.
What he said.
Is it happen on his team? Take a listen.
I think everybody has a right to do, you know, and I get it, but the national anthem means a lot. To myself personally, an organization or football team. I hope, you know, again, I can't speak. I haven't really talked to our team about it. I would hope we don't have those issues. I understand there's a lot going on in the world. I like to just keep it here. You know, what we deal with, we try to deal with as a team in our closed environment. We talk about things, but hopefully that won't happen. I can't tell you it won't happen, but I just know our guys. I don't think that's where our focus is, and we hope the things that are going on in the world get ironed out. But I know right now we're doing everything we can to get our football team better.
How could Hugh? How could Hugh? Just a little reminder about that. Well, that was on the 15th. Okay, 6 days later, this what happened. Okay. Now my focus happened to be like on the tight end for the Cleveland Brown is like Seth DeValve. You know, he's the only white player I see right there that's taking a knee along with the brothers, which happens to be, let me see if I could recognize. I see Jabril Peppers right here, Taylor, Kenny Brett, 12 of the Cleveland Breds, and I remember Colquitt. He's a quarterback, white quarterback there, and he got McCurdy there. But it was a powerful statement. I was watching Ticket TV's video on there, and I was reading some of the tweets from your usual Glacier Ape trolls talking about, you know, all saying the same thing. How they gonna protest about something? They make $1 million and da 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 like this. I came here to see some football, da 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 like this. So basically to them, you know, in other words, like I say, you know, myself, Black Reality TV, and one LVZ say, you know, cracker is a cracker is a cracker is a peckerwood. Not those guys. Just the trolls I'm addressing. You know, and I'm gonna say this for the record. I'm gonna say this one more time. I'm gonna keep on saying this. If you're one of the Caucasians that watch my videos or listen to my videos, and you hear me, you know, call out these racist peckerwoods or whatever like that, and you know you not on that, you not about it, you know what I'm saying? You know you all about fighting against inequality and fighting for justice and all that. Okay, that ain't got nothing. I'm not talking to you. This is not directed at you. So before y'all start getting butthurt and get on your feelings and go on your little keyboards or smartphones or tablets and all that, just think about that. You know you ain't no honky, you ain't no hillbilly, redneck, cracker, cave dweller, whatever like that, then you're not included in that. Because I said before plenty of times that not every so-called white person is a so-called white supremacist, because like I say, white is not a nationality, and ain't nothing supreme about them. Furthermore, now that I cleared that air up, let's just get on with this, because Self-Devolve says did something that hit home, and the reason why I say this, a lot of the credit really goes to Chris Long. Chris Long was the one that called everybody out. Called the white players out. Shannon Sharp even did it better when he said the ball ain't gonna get rolling till you address this issue of racism and inequality of unarmed black men, women, and children that are getting gunned down and getting killed by race cowards pretending to be law enforcement officers. Just like the other day, somebody sent me a video in New York about this NYPD fat ass little dick pig cracker cop with his Asian partner bothering a group of black people that was just doing nothing but grilling. And there's no laws in New York about them grilling sour, doing some of the kids. So he takes a water bottle or jug of water and puts it out. You know, personally like that, motherfucker should have beat his ass right there on the spot, took his gun and pistol whipped him. That's how I feel about that. Want a little dick motherfucker, don't like to see black people having a good time and coming together. So, you know, he want to try to get out there to try to agitate them, because I seen what he was trying to do. I saw it on Taurine Rain's channel this morning. But let me get back to the focus on that, on with Self-Devolve, because like he really said something that hit home to me, and I appreciated what he did. This is what he said. Let me just give me 1 second, people. So y'all just my apologies. Let's see if I can find it. Let me see something if I can find it or not, though. But see, I know I should have went there. Here you go.
Teammates to during the anthem.
And he also told you why he took it.
Shoulders Tight end Seth DeValve became the first known white player to kneel during the anthem, and he's married to an African-American woman. Let's take a listen to DeValve and the Browns explain their reasoning after the game.
I myself will be raising children that don't look like me, and I want to do my part as well to do everything I can to raise them in a better environment than we have right now. So I wanted to take the opportunity with my teammates during the anthem, to pray for our country, and also to draw attention to the fact that we have work to do.
We got to unite in some way.
I mean,
it's too much hate in the world, and we just wanted to, come together as men. We're all high quality men who were taught, stand up for what you believe in. Everyone has different methods. This was our method, and not, trying to disrespect the flag or, be a distraction to the team, but, as men, we have the right to stand up for what we believe in, and we demonstrated that.
Obviously, we put out a statement.
I don't want to hear nothing Hugh Jackson had to say, because, but I got to respect Seth DeValve on that. I got to respect him on there, I definitely have to respect him on there, And he's from out of Princeton. He was a 4th-round pick for the Browns this year. So, from Princeton. And, he's in a relationship with he married to a sister or whatever, and he said, he made it clear why he doing it, because, like I said, he wants to make a better world, because he's bringing in children in this world that's not going to look like him. And I'm gonna tell you something, like, I have to shake my head on that. Like, it's showing me like real men. Now, I don't hear Stephen A. Smith, I don't hear Ray Lewis, Jason Whitlock, or none of these other buck dancing Sambos getting out here. They're not even gonna comment on that. Chris Long got the ball rolling, and Justin Britt and Seth DeValve answered like the challenge. But the one thing I love about this, I love that these protesters get going. See, let me give us something that really had me upset, as well as Black Reality TV, as well as the rest of us. See, Derek Carr and Khalil Mack, that's how you do it. Ain't no faking with this man when he did it. No phoniness, no nothing. No phoniness, no nothing when it came down there to it. I mean, in this post-game interview, Jabril Peppers, he was kind of like dancing around the issue and all that stuff like that. I guess he doesn't want to mess up his money or whatever. But my thing is like this. Where I come from, it's like this. If you don't stand for something, then you fall for anything. And see, and like Chris Long said, whether you know it or not, even during the Black Power movements, even doing with the rise with the Panthers and all that, believe it or not, you even had some white folks, some Caucasians that were supporting the Panthers. Two names, Ted Turner, Jane Fonda. Enough said on that, but nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. But here's something else that I also came about too. When it come down to the protesters in the NFL, National Football League, like I say, Hugh Jackson, he kind of like got me pissed off. Hold on one second. But with what he said, that he doesn't want his players protesting and all this other stuff, well, he's feeling kind of real stupid right now. But Todd Bowles, as you see here, head coach in New York Jet, has a different contrast. And you know what? I like Todd Bowles, man. I always liked him. Even when he was defensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals, and he was next in line to become, should have been a head coach here for the Miami Dolphins. But instead, they passed, like I told y'all about the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins is a very racist organization. Always have been, always will. They don't even want a black quarterback here, much less a black head coach. So they pushed him aside in order to get Adam Gase. But anyway, though, Todd Bowles had something real interesting to say, which was in direct contrast to what Hugh Jackson said. And let me pull that up. I'm going to show y'all right now, courtesy of U.S. Press Forum, because, like I say, I hope that these protests in the NFL keep going and stuff, because, like I said, I'm man-caught in the NFL. Because really, the person that started, we ain't gonna never let them forget the name Colin Kaepernick. And since they want to fuck him over and don't want to give him a job, man, it's like we said before. I posted this up on Black Spot and Black Junction, Instagram, and Twitter, and my Twitter page. Not only that, you can go ahead and not buy no NFL gear. No season tickets, no subscribe to NFL Sunday Ticket. But what you got to go after is the sponsors, and there's 32 sponsors in the NFL. Go to my Instagram page. I'll leave a link in the description to where it's at, and you'll see where I posted it at. But anyway, this is what Todd Bowles had to say, and I'm surprised I don't see how this got passed over. Todd Bowles and Hugh Jackson are 2 of 7 black coaches in the NFL, but they have very different opinions when it comes to national anthem protests. Now, Jackson is in his 2nd season at the helm of the Browns. And last Tuesday, the 51-year-old coach, figures, a baby boomer. See, I told y'all, me and myself, Harvey Superboy and myself told y'all about these baby boomers, man. These baby boomers messed it up for our generation and stuff, and the generation behind it. The generation before us, my generation, the generation behind us, because they conformed to white supremacy. He suffered from what you call cognitive dissonance or Stockholm syndrome, that sort of thing. And he said he hopes his team doesn't have those issues in response to a question about anthem protests. Now, he received a great deal of criticism for the statement, especially considering the current climate of the nation after the white nationalist terrorist attack in Charlottesville, Virginia. Well, this is one from press. It is calling them a terrorist attack. Nice. Now, on Wednesday, Bowles was asked for his thought, and the third-year Jets coach was thoughtful and conscientious with his answer, virtually the opposite of Jackson. Bowles gave a similar reply last season when the topic was broached after Colin Kaepernick first took a knee during the national anthem. It's their individual right. We don't have a rule book on what's right to protest and not protest. You don't know those things until the course of time. I mean, whether it's sitting for the anthem, whether it's raising your fist, whether it's speaking out, whether it's a walk to Washington in reference to the 1963 March on Washington, or the Million Man March. They had 20-year anniversary last season around this time. Who's to say whose protest is good or bad, Right. As a football team, politics and people are human. They're part of it. So you can't say what's good or bad. I'm sure mostly everybody, I know I'm against racism, segregation, and all that other stuff. Well, against segregation, I'm going to tell you something. You may be against segregation, but you know what? Segregation, that's what kept made black folks stick together. Because integration was the worst thing that would happen, because that was just for economic purposes, not for equality. Because see, white people weren't doing their thing on their own. They seen us doing well, Black Wall Street, Rosewood, and all this other stuff. So what they did, the Tulsa race riots, how they bombed the whole community out of jealousy. Rosewood, which had their own self-sufficient everything, until some fucking Becky turned around and lied, saying that back then that a colored person raped her, when it came to find out it was nothing but her cracker boyfriend. Anyway, that's my thing on segregation. But how do we come to an answer? I don't have that answer. How do we come to a common ground? I don't have that answer. It's a hell of a debate and a hell of a topic. It needs to stop. I don't have the answers to that, but who's to say whose protest's good or bad? That's just the way they feel, and that's their way to express it. Right. Now, the comments have reaffirmed the statement Bowles made last year. They had that right. That's what this country's about. We all have the right to do what we want. Now, many of us object to the way Jackson dismissed the racial injustice in America as someone else's issues. When he said this bull crap, as y'all seen on the video, we hope the things that are going in the world get ironed out. But I know right now we are doing everything we can to get our football team better. Bowles, though, understands the members of his team are more than just football players. He said he's talked with his squad about Anthem's protests. The Raiders' Marshawn Lynch and Seahawks' Michael Bennett both sat for the anthem at their respective first preseason games last week. We talk about current events all the time. It's more than football with us. We talk about a lot of things. Everybody has their own feelings about it. You can't sway anybody one way or the other. We're all grown men here. That's how people feel. That has nothing to do with what they do in practice or what they do on the field. But separately, off the field, they're going to feel the way they feel. Now, Bowles said he hasn't brought up the Charlottesville attack and white nationalist violence with his team yet. Now, if one of his players decide to protest Saturday for the Jets, well, at that time had the second preseason game in Detroit, Bowles doesn't believe it'll be divisive. When asked if he expects a player to protest, Bowles said, "Not to my knowledge. It hasn't caused anything in our locker room. I can't speak for everyone else's locker room. But off the field, everyone has their right to do what they want and think the way they want. And their protest is their protest." Now, linebacker Jordan Jenkins told the News Monday, which was yesterday, that he opted to stand for the anthem because, his father and grandfather both served in the military. But people fought for your right to stand for the anthem and keyword and, conjunction, to sit for the anthem as well. Now, Leonard Williams, who's determined to be a leader for this young Jets groups this season, said the players haven't discussed the anthem protest internally. He said, I would obviously support them if they protested. Everyone has their freedom of speech and rights to do what they want to do. But at the same time, I would try to tell them to stay focused on us. What makes you think, Leonard, that they're not staying focused on us? They also see what's going on. You act like people can't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. But, big ups to Todd Bowles. And I was just coming in some conjunction with this too. John Lynch, along with Jason Garrett and the other fool, Pete Carroll, now he's regretting calling his anthem protest divisive. Well, it's too late now for that. Shoot, it's way too late. But kudos go to Todd Bowles for going ahead and saying that. And kudos to the self-devolved for picking up the gauntlet, for stepping up to the plate. One of the few white players to do it. Chris Long told you why he did it. Justin Britt told you why he did it. He said, I'm gonna learn a lot from Michael Bennett. I'm gonna educate myself, because Justin Britt, he's from Missouri, the heartland, and a lot of shit going on there. So he gets it. See, Derek Carr, fuck him. Khalil Mack, fuck him too. They doing that shit, thinking it was quote unquote trendy. Ain't nothing trendy about that shit. So I guess Derek Carr, he figures that it's trendy that unarmed black men, women, and children are getting murdered out here in the streets by race cowards that look like him. You know, so Derek Carr is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. You know, I hope Marshawn Lynch jack both of their behinds up and check them. I really do. But self-devolve, man, look here. I hat tip off to you, man. And no to people, I'm not saying that because, like, you know, he's married to a sister or anything like that. Just the fact that he acknowledges the fact that, you know, that he's going to bring a life into this world that's not going to look like him. But he's still going to love and nourish them regardless. And he come from Princeton. That's a rarity. I don't care nothing about him being a tight end for the Cleveland Browns. That's a rarity, though. Now, see, that's what a real man is supposed to do. What pisses me off even more, that where all the other black athletes, with the exception of Malcolm Jenkins, with the exception of a few of the other brothers, Michael Bennett, Marshawn Lynch, and a few of the other brothers that's still there, that's still holding it down. And yeah, those brothers are still fighting, you know, like Terrell Suggs and all them, still fighting to get Kaepernick back in the NFL. But we're fighting for Kaepernick too. We're doing it by not going ahead, by not doing no NFL viewership. And like I told y'all, the sponsors, let's focus, people. My people, let's have some tunnel vision here. Focus on the sponsors. Yes, lack of viewership, not buying no NFL paraphernalia, no season tickets, no NFL Sunday ticket, that's all good and dandy. But you hit them in their bottom line. And that's hitting them with the sponsors. It's 32 of them. It's 32 of them. I'm going to do another video and I'm going to leave it up there for y'all to go ahead and write it down or whatever, like, and so on and so forth. But like I say, I'm real proud because I got friends and allies up in Cleveland, and like I say, shout out to those 12 players of the Cleveland Browns: Jabril Peppers, Taylor, Collins Sr., Kenny Brett. I don't know all of them, but Cole quit all of them for doing that. But, you know, they could, and see, here's another thing too. Like I said, they took a knee. I did hear them say that they were there praying and stuff like that. Okay. Colin Kaepernick took a knee, and people talking about saying, oh, wait, he being defiant. Well, what makes you think he wasn't praying either? But this is a great thing. You know, let's not lose the focus here on national. Let's not while we protest the national anthem, which was written by a racist piece of shit. In case y'all don't know who Francis Scott Key is or what the fuck he don't look like, let me just take y'all a little something real quick. That is Francis Scott Key. That's the piece of shit that wrote the national anthem. Slave owner, racist, Caucasian terrorist with a little faggot wig on. That's the man right there. That's the fool right there that wrote the national anthem, particularly the fourth stanza. Now, in case y'all don't know what the fourth stanza of the national anthem is, let me just give it to you right. Give it to you raw. Let's see if I can find it real quick for y'all. Yeah, see, they ain't changed it. shut up a lot of them old racist, fucking bigot, glacier apes, pale male trailer glacier apes. Stanza right there. And where is that band who so vauntingly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country should leave us no more? Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps' pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. Right there. You're talking about catching runaway slaves and killing them. They're talking about my ancestors, your ancestors, everything else like that. Now, let some so-called Caucasian terrorists try to come on this post and come on this channel trying to refute that. You see it right there for yourself. You see that right there for yourself. I'll leave a link in the description for y'all so that way y'all can go ahead and get it. And you notice how they changed it. They took this out. But the original is right here. God, you gotta love technology these days. But that's the reason why. But let me know what y'all think about this. Kudos to Carbos. Kudos to Self-Devour. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Share, subscribe, and I'll be back with another one. No more talk.